Yo, Crowzey crew, and welcome back to the show. It's me, Crowzey. Today we're going to be taking a little look at a little video which I haven't actually watched yet, so I've got no idea what's to come. I've seen the clips of the original viral clip, if that makes sense. So I got an insight on what the initial debate is, but I'm not sure how it's going to go. This is going to be a long video, which I might just break down into two parts, depending on how we go. So we will see what it breaks down to, see how long it goes. I never know really what's good. I don't know what people like. Do people like 10-minute videos, 20-minute videos, 30, 40-minute videos? I never know. So I just record, see what happens in the edit, and then we put it out there. So that's the cool story, bro, of how that one goes. So without boring you and keeping you and making you look at my beautiful mug anymore, let's jump into this and find out what it's all about. So the title of the video is Michael Knowles debates Gen Z girls on viral trans clip. So let's see the difference. I'm definitely not Gen Z. I don't know what generation I am. I'll find out, and I'll put a little right into it at the start of the video, and we'll find out the difference. But my thinking was that there's got to be some intrinsic differences in knowing a few people who are of that age and in that generation. They do think a lot differently. I don't know whether or not it's more accepting, because if you listen to the intrinsic things that they actually say, the things that they actually just say without thinking, then nobody's as nice as what they pretend to be. I'm telling you that for nothing. And it's crazy how people in their first relationships is really cute to think that that's going to last forever. I got a bit of advice about Gen Z recently, and it made me chuckle inside, because they're babies, they haven't lived anything, they haven't experienced much, and it was just an interesting tidbit to what they posted. But enough of me yapping on, let's crack on with the video. Let's do this.
Would you rather smash the hottest trans woman in the world or the oldest woman in the world? Honestly, bro, the oldest woman in the world,
yeah.
Then I wouldn't be gay.
Would you rather smash the hottest trans woman in the world or the oldest woman in the world? Easy, innit? Woman, because woman, straight up woman, because you don't want to smash a bloke. I'm not gay. The minute I step into he used to be a bloke territory, then he used to be a bloke. He used to be a man. Alright, so even if he's a bloke now, what you've got to remember is it used to be a man.
You really just want me to just rip you a fucking new one.
Are you like
what? She's triggered by this.
Transphobic.
Yes, actually. What the fuck do you mean? Yes, that was
Because
so
if I had
necessary.
sex with a trans woman, I'd be having sex with a biological man, and I don't want to do that.
The question is,
That's not what you said, though. That's fine. If that's
Because
what you
I'd
want
be
to say.
gay if I had sex
That's
with a
not
biological
gay.
man.
That's not gay.
That's
And
gay.
I don't even care if you're doing this for whatever, but shut up, actually.
I'm doing
You live
it for
like you have a
what-
leader
Hey, why
respect
don't-
his street
that's too far.
identity.
That's
Why don't
too fucking
you? Why
far.
don't you make me
That's
shut
too
the fuck up? Because I have an opinion that differs from yours.
Oh, so she's walked off. Alright, cool. So she's done one because they've got a different opinion. She thinks that biological men can be women. It's crazy that she's a woman and she believes that. It's like, if I was a woman, I'd vehemently defend that. I'd be like so it's not so intimidating for men. We don't care if 5'2" women walk into men's toilets thinking they're men. It doesn't threaten us. But if I was a woman, I'd be defending my right as a woman fully. I don't understand why women defend this. Why women allow men over 6'4", 6 foot to come into their world. It baffles me.
I mean, that's really
But
hateful,
she's not. It would technically
It would be.
homosexual. A trans woman,
Yeah.
a biological man.
I want to
sue me.
meet you. Dude, that's mean. I also gotta go.
It's not fucked up. It's real. It's true.
Okay, if you guys want to
It's-
respect that,
Yeah, it is. Like it's weird how, as a straight man, I'm expected, and I've said this to people, and they're like, no, you're not. I am genuinely expected to be attracted to these people. It's disgusting.
that's his though. That's his sexuality.
I'm not allowed to say that. I'm not allowed to say that.
Yes, from a biological woman who doesn't even have any trans friends. That was too fucking far.
Oh my god, it's too far.
Christian? Yeah.
Yeah, you know what God said? It said He made them man and women. He made them man and women.
He actually said
I just
man,
told you I'm
women,
not
and
gay. I'll
them.
pass on that. Thanks, though.
So,
No, he said
Yeah,
created
well,
male and female created.
they're not going to do this, are they? Yeah, God said He created man, woman, and them, as in them, as he was speaking to two people, and then he said them, as in and them, all the other people in the world, plural. See what I mean? This is what's happening. Like, Gen Z are using words and they're bending them, they're twisting them and fucking breaking them. It's like them isn't a way to describe one person. It's just fucking not.
So them. So there's them.
Facts would
They
make you walk
thems.
off the show.
No, the them refers to the men and the women.
No, but he
man
said
is the
them,
gender
so
neutral
it's
word.
like they, them.
So they
referring to both.
were watching that clip of this girl closest to us in the tattoos going bananas at somebody because they don't believe a biological man is a woman.
He said them, so he's like saying man created men and women in them. So he
No,
admitted
he
to
said in the beginning God created man, both male and female created he them.
them.
These are the
That-
types
yeah,
of
you're
man.
right.
While other
Yeah.
countries
Right.
are planning
Male and
to
female.
invade us with the
Yeah, it's crazy. She's at it now. There's other countries out there planning to invade us, and we're out here discussing they, them, and dealing with all this freak shit. It's mental. It's blokes. It is. It's blokes. I genuinely believe it's blokes, and they influence women to believe stupid shit.
Or to multiple people, you say them, right?
Or you could do
No.
thems.
No.
They thems don't exist.
This is gonna make me mad.
I hate to break it to
I've
you.
met some. It's crazy. You
You've met very
Yeah.
confused men and sometimes very confused women. But you
Yeah, you've met people who think or feel they're somebody else, and the way that we treat them is we cut off body parts. It's crazy. It's not right.
It's non-binary people I meet are women, not men.
Yeah.
Just gonna put that out
Really?
there.
Why do you think that is?
Maybe because they don't have to face the consequences of all their friends.
No, it's because women don't want to go through all the rigmarole of going through trans. Men will fake it until they make it. Men will absolutely go through all of the therapy, all of the cutting off of body parts. Women don't want that. Women are a bit smarter than that, so they just go, I'm non-binary. I'm non-binary, alright? And I'm not any gender. I'm not any gender, man. It's mental. Absolutely mental. And it's just an easy cop out, isn't it? As opposed to men go the full hog majority of the time. And you get the odd woman who get their tits cut off and all that, but it's few in comparison to these mentally ill men.
A woman coming out as non-binary probably will have a friend group that will accept her more than
A man.
a man
Coming out as
non-binary.
Oh, I thought you were saying the women get into this stuff because they're really messed up or something more than the men are, but you're saying that this is a real category of being and it's just the men are afraid to admit it. You can't say
Yeah. That's a brilliant question.
I do believe there's people who are, I don't know if it's ambiguous, were born in their wrong gender. There's people who are born and they don't feel like they fit in either box. Do I think people are born that believe they're cats and stuff? No. I don't believe that shit. No.
There are
Do I
people who
believe-
think that, though.
I'm saying no, I don't. I'm not saying that's correct. But
Okay,
I
so
haven't
what she's
seen-
saying is if somebody, a biological man thinks they're a woman, that's okay, or if a biological woman thinks, but if somebody thinks they're a cat, that's not. So that's where we draw the line, yeah? I guess it's humans, her line, so she's got a line, so even she's got a point where she doesn't accept everyone. If someone out there thinking they're a shepherd dog, Alsatian, a border collie, then she's not having that. She's like, no, you're mental. As opposed to then she's saying to like people like myself who don't believe that men can be women or women can be men, that we should accept, like, what? The hypocrisy. It's like all or nothing, right? You either believe in the thousands of genders out there or you don't believe in any of them. You can't just pick and choose your crazy whims that people want to live by. It's mental. Again, it's mental.
Seen anything to back that up, but I just
So
the fact that you guys, why in anyone's right mind would somebody go from like Bruce Jenner, for example, or Caitlyn Jenner now, for example,
Did you just
Successful.
dead name?
successful athlete, Olympian, whatever, all this
Guy in
stuff,
the Wheaties box.
was married to Kris Jenner, had life of whatever, unless she truly believed that and felt that deep inside of her core, she ultimately ruined her life for basically a whole decade.
he became much more relevant and famous than he was.
I highly,
Yeah.
highly
Obviously,
disagree.
he was on magazine covers.
Well,
Everybody
he
was
got
talking
way
about
more
him.
hated.
She's been on magazine covers. She's an Olympian. That's not. She's
But
not
he had-
on. She's not on.
he was an
covers
Olympian.
because
He
she's
decades.
trans.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, he was an Olympian in the 90s. Like nobody knew he was relevant. He was the dad in the outcast weird family. In that freaky family, he was just the dad, wasn't he? You know what I mean? And actually, he was portrayed like Homer and like Peter Griffin from Family Guy. He was portrayed as a bumbling idiot, a stupid fool, and they were all the strong, powerful ones. So no wonder he transitioned. He transitioned because he got roped into thinking that being female is where the power was. Genuinely. It turned out to be true. I mean, look what they're doing. But, you know what I mean? God, don't even get me started on those twats.
He was on a magazine cover for the first time in decades.
But
because
after
he
she
pretended
came
to be a woman.
out as she got way more hate.
Exactly.
And she got
The only thing
ruined
worse than being talked
relationships.
about is not being
But
talked
she probably
about. That's
made
how
more
show business
money.
works.
But no, she.
Okay,
she
so
lost a
take
lot of
away. Okay,
relationships.
But the
sorry.
reason he
Take
did
away
that-
Caitlyn Jenner.
Do you know why? The
Okay, no,
reason-
hold on. Put on your basic day-to-day person. Okay, you're not gonna like this one. Okay, no, not you. You, for example. Okay, there's people like
Yeah,
you.
day-to-day
who are
people. I knew
super-
somebody who was a bloke, born biological bloke, and decided to transition in their late 20s. He was a smelly bloke. I'm assuming that he's gonna be a smelly woman. You know what I mean? So you can cut off all the body parts you want. It don't change the fact of the person themselves. I don't think. The person's still, and that person went through had loads of mental illness and loads of shit happened to them, and that was the outcome of it. They weren't. So even looking at personal people that I know, that I've experienced, that I've encountered, they're not right. They're about as insane as my dad was. And my dad was clinically schizophrenic. He thought he was Elvis.
conservative, right in their
Handsome.
views and stuff, and then
Charming.
They wake up
And
and,
then-
they want to be a woman.
but is it because they just woke up and want to be women, or is it because they finally found the courage to
Well, maybe
come out with?
I think there's more chance of going to sleep one day and waking up and losing something in your mind and making you schizophrenic more than something that makes you the opposite gender, the opposite sex. Surely, right? Surely the chances of you going to sleep and then waking up and something just going wrong inside of your brain is gonna make you mentally ill, not the opposite sex, right? Right? So what these people want is that these people go to sleep thinking they're a man, wake up the next day feeling they're not, and then they want me to believe that they are. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Their whole lives. I just don't understand why you guys think somebody would risk. Like, yes, some people can benefit from coming out as trans, but most people do not benefit from that. So why would somebody risk their whole livelihood, not even just career, but literally especially black
Because they have
trans
a
people?
sexual fetish. 'Cause they have a
Also, why
disordered
does it
sexual
bother
desire.
you?
I think
I
it's
feel like
just
why
so-
does
No,
it
I
bother
don't think it's that. I don't think it's anything to do with a sexual fetish. I think the days of transvestites are long gone. Like transvestites, you used to get them, didn't you? The old transvestite used to just dress up as a man every now and again. What happened to the transvestite? Now it's just one step too far. It's taking women's stuff. I'd have no beef if these blokes stayed in the blokes' lane. I'd have no beef with it if they didn't start using women's toilets, didn't start competing in women's sports, didn't start taking over women's Brit Awards shows, didn't start going to women's jails. I would have no beef with it. But the fact that the minute it starts interrupting real women's lives, somebody has to say something. Somebody has to.
people?
Because it isn't true.
But why does it
Like,
bother
why
you?
is
It's
that?
not
Yeah.
harming you. It's not hurting anyone.
Well, it
like,
is
they're
harming
just-
society.
So
a
do
lot.
you go
I mean,
around? Do you go around
How?
fighting
Because-
people who think the world's flat? Do you go around
You're like
fighting
you're
them?
harming society.
No, well, because in the case of transgenderism and this ridiculous idea that men can secretly be women and vice versa, there are very practical effects that we see. Like, for instance, if
It's
we
pushed
accept
onto
this,
children.
yeah, well, it's obviously pushed onto children. We're castrating children left and right, which is insane. But also, if we accept transgenderism at all, even for one single adult person, that means that certain things will change in society. Women don't get to
Maybe
have their own
things
bathrooms
need to
anymore.
change.
Women don't get to have, well, perhaps, but at least one could have the debate. Women don't get to have their own bathrooms. Women don't get to have their own sports teams. Women don't get to have their own specific rights and places in society. Protections. And
See,
civil rights
people
law.
think that like men are doing this because we're full of hate. We're not. It's because we're full of love. It's because we protect women. And sometimes, maybe even most of the time, most women are too nice. They don't like confrontation. They don't. So it takes men to have to stand out and step out of line and actually say stuff to actually defend women. Because I haven't got a daughter, but I could not imagine walking up to a sporting event with my daughter, if she was interested in sports, and there being a young boy playing. I couldn't imagine. I know what my reaction would be. I won't say what my reaction would be, but I'll be having strict words with her dad, his dad. I'd be like, what are you doing allowing your son to play sports with my girl? I was like, there's something weird about you.
That because some men can say that they're women. And so it seems to me the obvious question to ask is not, well, what does it matter to you? Who really cares? First of all, the people pushing it seem to care a lot. But the question to ask is it true? Are these men who say that they're women actually women? Or are they men who are confused or who have weird sexual fetishes or have disordered desires?
Gender-wise, they
Obviously,
are. Biologically, they're not. So
what's the difference?
The difference is like science, and then the other difference is like how you feel.
Oh my god, the way you feel in your head is science. It's all science. Everything is science when you boil it down. Think about it, woman. Here, what she's about to say, there's two different things. Right, so what she's trying to say is, like, if you might be biologically down to the core, down to the bone marrow a man, but if you feel like you're not, you're not. That's not right, is it? That's just not right. Because her mates already said that doesn't work on another level when it comes to people thinking they're dogs or babies. Grown men out there think they're babies.
The way you are in society, there's a huge difference. The difference is like the chromosomes and then your mentality.
Okay, so if there's a disagreement between what you're saying is your physical self and your emotional self, your psychological self, then why would you not just change your mind? If the options are chop up your body to make go through gruesome surgeries,
if you're living with your mind
life,
for your whole life and you understand like, oh, I've been trying to change it. Like she said, most people are repressing it and are trying to change it, but they just can't. So why would I? This is something physical that I can easily go change instead of trying to retrain your thought process over and over and over and over.
But it's because they'd rather be dead. They would rather be dead than.
Wait, so what she's trying to say is retrain your mind is a harder process than having body parts dismantled and cut off and mutilated. No, it's not. Like, don't get advice from this woman. This woman's full of shit. What is she on about? Clueless.
Than living the lie anymore.
But
is
the
what
problem,
it's getting to.
If you bring up like suicidality, there is no evidence that having these surgeries and pretending to be the opposite sex reduces any of that whatsoever.
I don't know the stats exactly. I'll try and see if I can dig them up at the moment. But I remember reading back in 2016, 2018 that 43% of people pre-op commit suicide, and then it turns to 46% of people post-op still commit suicide. That would indicate that it helps 3% of the people it actually treats. You know, and there was a point where people who were transgender were committing suicide at a faster rate than people in the Polish death camps during World War II. That was statistics I read. I will see if I can find similar statistics and put them up here now from a closer date. But if that's changed drastically, I would be very surprised, because I don't think we're treating it right. I think people who commit suicide, have got something wrong up top more than anything, and that community seems to commit suicide at a very, very high rate. And even when they've gotten the change, it doesn't seem to help.
Because there's going to be dysphoria forever, especially from people like you guys going on the internet.
No, it's from themselves, because they know
bashing them every day.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing.
I'm not bashing anybody.
I'm not saying you. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say. Maybe Chase. Because the whole thing. Because I didn't even get to.
Yeah, it's not about bashing them. It's about bashing society and the way we treat them. It shouldn't be okay to mutilate a body part. It shouldn't be okay to be a man and go and pee next to women. It shouldn't be okay for men to go and compete in women's sports. It shouldn't be okay for 15-year-old boys to be able to wrestle with 15-year-old girls. Those things just shouldn't be okay. It's not about hate. And if there is any hate, it should be directed towards the people that implement these things and people that allow these things to be okay. Because the people are going through a tough time. Like, individually, we're all going through shit. We all are. Nobody said life was fair. I shouldn't have to have my life dictated to by minorities. It should just never be the way. The minority should never win, and society should never bend its way to the minority, because that's how society gets broken. Society should always push towards its strongest. In the same as classrooms, it just makes sense.
But what he
Video
said
that
was
got played.
totally right.
Okay, so since we're gonna go
Sure,
back to
go
that,
ahead.
the video that got played, right? If you don't want to sleep with a trans woman, that is your prerogative. I don't give a fuck what you want to do. That is your preference. That does not make you transphobic at all. But to get up on a podcast that has almost 4 million viewers and to say that any man who chooses to sleep with a trans woman is now taking part in homosexual gay activities.
That's
I feel
fact. If you're a bloke and you decide to sleep with a trans man knowingly, you've partook in homosexual acts. If you're a bloke and you've been tricked into sleeping with a trans guy, with a trans person, then you should be able to press charges. Definitely you should. If you go out and you think you've pulled a girl, you've had a few on the lash or whatever, and you take a girl back and comes to you 6 months later and said, oh, guess what? I used to be a man. You'd be like, oh, damn, I'm going to the police. You should be able to go to the police.
that is wrong. I feel like that is hateful, and for somebody who claims to be so
It's
religious,
not hate, it's logical. It's because when anthropologists dig us up, it's gonna be a bloke. So there's no getting away from it. It's a man. They're men.
God, new, born again, virgin, Christian. I think that's very hateful of you. If you want to say, I personally wouldn't do that, that's not for me, then that's your thing. Answer the question. That's how you do it. It's a step further.
Is it hateful to say that a man can't really secretly be a woman?
I'm saying it's hurtful to say that sleeping, for any man to sleep.
But the first question you have to answer is not
That's
sleeping
not.
with
But
who.
I'm talking about what happened on the podcast.
No, but
I'm referring to
I'm
that.
picking up on his point. The question is, what is a trans woman? And so what Chase would say, and what I would say, and what everybody throughout all of human history.
Who thinks or believes or feels they are a woman. But it's still a man. Like, yeah, it's not a woman. Like, as a straight man, I'm attracted to women. I'm not attracted to men who feel they are women. And if I were, I believe that would be gay. I might as well just be attracted to men.
Yeah,
You're in the minority.
No,
Yeah.
she's
a lot
not.
of people are saying it now, but you're historically speaking, yes. Statistically, 0% of people ever have thought that a man wearing
No,
a
there's
dress and
cultures
a
That's
where
so
there's
incorrect.
cultures where
There,
they're
there aren't none of these cultures. But also what you've got to remember is there's more to attraction than just looks. There's smell, there's feel, there's touch. Like, I don't know how most men will agree with me, but there's nothing better to get your hands on a girl who's lovely and soft, and she smells nice, and she smells all like fresh and clean from the bath, and she's got a little bit of a natural body smell. It's cute, it's attractive, it makes you go you know, it does things to you, it attracts you to her. So it isn't necessarily all about walking in and smelling your girlfriend's BO when it's musky male BO doesn't attract men. Women quite like it, but men don't. So attraction isn't necessarily just on a straight out, oh, you look like a woman anyway, or anything. You know, there's loads of other kind of nuances to attraction.
They don't
What
know.
about the femboys in Thailand that
Yeah,
have
well,
existed for
they're-
decades and decades
right,
and
there-
decades and decades?
There's
and they're
this third
living.
weird thing in certain cultures, like a modern
So
culture
you don't
like Thailand.
don't.
And they say it decades and decades and decades and decades, and it's not been that long because nobody knew how to cut off dicks before and make them into vaginas. That's only been around for 20 years, 30 years. So there isn't cultures and cultures and cultures. There was a culture of like transvestitism where people secretly used to dress as women, but those were seen as outcasts when I was growing up. Like, my dad would rip them. My stepdad would absolutely rip transvestites. It was something that, you know, was laughed at. It wasn't seen as normal. So to say there's decades in loads of cultures out there that accept this is bullshit. Is absolute bullshit.
You're erasing that. That's
No,
like me
but
trying to
you
erase your
are
religion.
even-
If I could be like, oh, well, there's some people who believe in this one
No,
ancient
but-
thing called the Bible.
but
Yeah,
even
some
the-
of them went and roamed with him.
But even
that
when you're
you're
talking about
erasing
when you're
a
talking
whole
about this
countries.
weird species of prostitute in Thailand,
Weird species of prostitute.
Yeah.
It's not even a
understand how that's
species, it's literally a weird sexual fetish. That's what it is. It's a sexual fetish. There's some men out there who live a lie and pretend to be straight but like to go out and do things with ladyboys. But either way, they're called ladyboys. They're called boys still. They've still got a name in it. They're not just called Thai ladies, are they? No, they're called lady boys. For fuck's sake.
Sounds. You know,
Sounds precise.
A weird species. Oh, so now we're not human. So back to
No,
the
a,
boy.
a species in the
I'm
technical
just
term.
saying,
Hold on,
bro, if
let,
you're
let
gonna
him
be,
let him explain. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so it's a type. So even there's this weird phenomenon in Thailand, for example, where there are these guys
That a
who
lot
get
of
weird
American
surgeries.
men go to.
Yeah, well, they probably shouldn't do that. But the reason that is different is because it's not, those people are not saying, I am really a woman. That's a
Yeah.
bizarre cultural carve-out that exists in Thailand. The difference here is, and what you are saying, is that a man who puts on a dress, puts on a wig, chops his body up, calls himself a woman, is actually a woman. And I just don't see how you could believe
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy that anyone could genuinely believe that's true, especially the people who aren't living it. If you're living it, I can maybe understand why something inside of your brain makes you think that's true. Does that mean it's true? No. But if you're not living it and you're not actually going through it, women always defend things they never want to be. Like, this woman doesn't want to be a man. She doesn't want to go out there and get a pretend willy put on, start using the male toilets and coming in with us stinkers. She don't want to do that. But she'll sit out here all day and argue for shit she doesn't even want to do. It's baffling to me.
so she has a vagina, shit, probably fucking tighter than mine, double D racks,
Wait.
hair down to the fucking ass, looks like a woman, talks like a woman, does everything besides menstruate and can give birth. What is separating her between the woman who are infertile, who
Her
can't have birth, or a
BO,
woman-
her hand size, her feet size, that Adam's apple that they get right there in the neck. You know that men have? You know that? The constant holes in their face they're going to have from the growing of hair in their face, especially if they've changed later. It's going to look like lifelong acne once it's all been lasered off. The holes aren't going to grow back. It's just not the way Paul's whack. What else can I think of? The knob. What about that? What about the fact that they still might just have a knob? This is crazy. The arm size, the size of the forearms, the size of the shins. You know what I mean? You can talk about all of these things, but men and women are physically built a bit different as well. We got slightly longer shins, slightly longer forearms, and things like that. You know what I mean? Like, this woman is just, oh god, it's stupid. There's no way I should be made to be attracted to a man who thinks he's a woman. No way. No way. If women want to allow these men to use their bathrooms and all of this and their toilets and all of that lot, then that is absolutely fine. Then stupid on them, really. But as a man, I am not allowing it to be told that men should have to be attracted to men who think they are women. It's not going down like that. So guys, I'm going to end part 1 right here. So thank you very much for watching, for tuning in. I am going to jump right into part 2. Part 2 will follow this one. Please, how do you feel it's going so far? Are these women absolutely crazy? Are they right? Are these men actually women? Am I the one that's actually got it way out there wrong? All I can do is say it from a man's point of view, the way that we feel, the way I feel. And sadly, it's a tough one for men to really logically believe. Some men will say it, and they will say it publicly just to be agreeable, but 99% of us behind closed doors don't believe it. Not at all. So yeah, we will leave part 1 there. Please join us again for part 2 to see how this goes down, because this is only going to make me angrier. Peace.